Good morning, 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 good morning. 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 Are we live? We're alive, right? Yes, I think. Yes, maybe. Good morning. I think we are. How are you all doing? Bing bong bong bong. Should have really done the except for green screen's a bit different from it was last time. It's a little bit sharp now. Beautiful. Hi. How's it going? Oh, I haven't jumped in the Discord yet. Let me jump in there. Boop. That's not the right button. This one. There we go. You freeze and freeze it again a little. Let me have a look. Because I shouldn't be. Stats. 0.2% to rendering lag. Nothing to network. Okay. Let's have a look. Me and your daughter playing dress up in my house. One, two, one, two, one, two. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Seems to be fine for me. Might be on your end. Although YouTube still does not like me streaming in this format. Stream status good, not excellent, because I'm in 6x9. But we're dealing with it, okay? We're dealing with it. I like the format. I like it. I like 6x9. So we're gonna stick with it. Okay. I might change my mind at some point, but for now we're sticking with it. I'm having a nice day. It's been a bit stressful. A little bit tiring. I am very red though. Let's throw a lid on it. Not really, as ever, I don't really have a plan for today. We're just here, we're just gonna hang out. If anyone wants to call in, they can. Couldn't have a talk. Yeah, that's a bit better, isn't it? I'm looking a little bit less red. I've been thinking about the show, as ever. Broken record. The minute. Thinking about the show. Thinking about how to sustain it. And I think I have to just stop thinking about it and just start doing. I'm into that part of the cycle where I have to stop caring about the whole getting the format down and just perform something every day. When I was streaming in the first era, it was nice to know that there was always something there. And there's a few projects I really enjoy that that are daily short clips. Ooh. I'm suddenly very warm. And I think I want to do that. I'm going to do that one daily short clip thing. Have somewhat of a script to start with. Really, really, really simple format. I had a Twitter thread that I wrote this morning at 3 a.m. That was, let me go grab it and I'll just read it out. It was a pretty long one. Maybe I should bring it up on screen too. About what? My Twitter thread. It was this here. It was about the show. It's got a whole 1 like. I'm gonna move it over here. So, are we ready to hear what you wrote? Yeah, are you ready to hear what I wrote? Maybe I'll move this a little bit. Here we go. And beautiful placement. I am awake. I am alive. I am once again thinking about repetition. I'm eternally kept awake by my drive to figure out what form a daily project should be made in. I've been trying to work out the format of my own internet show, mostly news-based, AI-enhanced. I am not so much stuck in a cycle, but willingly inhabiting it, where I try an idea, perform some form of it publicly or in private, review it, decide it is too meaningless or too time-consuming, then rinse and repeat. There is also this meta cycle where I say to myself, I'm thinking about this too much and I need to just make. And then I make something and it's just part of the same thing. I am currently in the part of the cycle where I strip it back to its minimum. It feels like the creation of this show is not Sisyphean, but is more like a shepherd's tone, where I appear to be making progress, but the show is now becoming a show about becoming a show. I think that I might be taking it too serious. I need to relax and just turn it into practice, not try to impress or to fit into a category, and just make my work in the form of a daily report. The repetition, the logging, the practice are all part of my work so far, and I need to accept that and fight against the whole drive of platforms to entertain and hold and to sell. One of my favorite works I've ever made, I've recently fixed, random number of a day. Let me show you that real quick. It looks like this. It's a Twitter account. And the tweets look like this. A bot that just posts a number and an image of that number. I like it a lot because of the unimportance of it. It's there doing its thing, one of many bots I made during that time. It was built with the intention of adding ordered randomness into people's days. Other works I've done have had similar reasons for existing, but this one in my opinion is the most pure. There is something great in a reliable, daily, small event, forever changing but really inconsequential in its effect due to the ordered form. That's what I love about Unquara's date paintings and Peter Dreher's paintings of the glass in his studio. Let me show you what those date paintings look like. They look something like this. He would paint the day's date and the color, and it would be formatted in the way that the place where he was painting it had the dates formatted. I can't remember what the color represented, but there was some meaning behind it too. And Peter Dreher's paintings of the glass in his studio. Let me show you those as well. Oh my god. How to tweet. Why? Oh boy. Okay, whatever. That's only on my end, I think. painting of the glass in his studio. And they look like this. Just paintings, watercolors of a glass on a shelf in his studio. I have to restart my compositor real quick. Oop. Yeah, there we go. Another work that is currently ongoing is David Lynch's Weather Report, which I have just finished binging. Its honesty is great. The repetition is superb when I binged. My issue is that to try and translate these analog works that are influenced by environment and time so strongly in light, color, and modifying the general context just does not feel like it would work if I made it in the style that I'm going for. So I'm at a crossroads again. Lean into my roots and get to the practice. Abandon parts of what I wanted, or do I keep looking for the solution? What makes these works good is the differences, subtle or large, and the vastness of their creation. I guess that it is inevitable in works like these. I guess I'm just thinking aloud in this thread, but my main gripe is that it is so simple. I have gotten myself into this place where I think I must make it complicated. That it has to have use value, but what value is the use if it is not even made? If it is made short, made simple, its differences from day to day give it more value. Should I embrace that rather than trying to provide value from content which, with the time I want for this, will never likely sustain? And really, yeah, what I'm trying to talk about with this is that, with this thread, is that I see the most important parts of this is the repetition. It's always been the repetition. It's the continuously making and remaking the show is the fundamental, the absolute fundamental aspect of it. And the community aspect, I think, should fall in line with it. As people watch or don't watch, because either way, I can't force people to watch the video. I mean, I probably could, but that would not be sustainable. Forcing people to watch videos would probably be quite unethical, and probably in the majority of ways that you would do it, be either classed as advertising or be just illegal. So I can't exactly force people to watch, but I digress. So the work has to be made no matter what, and the content of that work, I already know, is going to be continuously changing. So there are three kind of points in it: the repetition, the community will come if it comes. There's no way to real force it. And the work must be made. So I just need to stop making it. I need to just stop making it. I need to just say good morning, say have a nice day, say what's on my mind, and then continue on. And then, for better or for worse, the work will be made. And for days when there is more to say, there will be more said. And for days that there are less, there will be less. People can incorporate it into their routines. People can contribute to it if it seems interesting. I can have calls to action to it. But it really, to boil it down completely to just what's the absolute minimum of a daily vlog? I've watched so many my first vlogs on YouTube, and I feel like the minimum of a vlog is a person with a camera saying hey and then telling you to subscribe. That's it. But it's like all there is to a vlog. That's the only things that make a vlog, right? It's quite easy to boil it down, I think. There are like things that are shared amongst a lot of parts of vlogs, but ultimately I think they're the fundamentals to it. A person in front of a camera saying hi and then telling you to subscribe. That's like all it boils down to when it comes to it. There might be a today we're going to do this, and then a video montage of that day. Or there might be like an interview, or it could be like some would-be stock footage, or maybe there's like a conversation that the host has with the audience, or has towards the audience. But reminder, work in office at Sundays are working. Yeah, office hours is always going to be going on like this, 3 hours. Now I think setting these very simple rules is what matters to it, to the work. Like office hours has worked because I know I can just turn on the camera and start streaming for 3 hours and join a voice chat, and it's just that simple, and it doesn't need to be more complicated than that. Occasionally I pull things on screen, but for the most part I just sit here and just rant for a bit, or not. I sometimes just sit, and sometimes somebody will join, sometimes people won't. That's fine, as long as I'm in the office for those 3 hours. Yeah, run. But I think the daily, having this work made daily, where it's just something that people can check in on, because that really worked well when I was doing the other projects that I had, like Tweet, hello Fruit Lemon. I want to say you are not as stuck in your head. It seems to be. Yeah, I'm not stuck in my head. Like in the thread, I made comment on that. It's not Sisyphean. I'm not stuck. It's not like I'm continuously. I don't feel like I'm making progress, but it's like progress is all I'm feeling. There's no completion to it. It's like, if Sisyphus, instead, the myth of Sisyphus wasn't that when the day ended, the ball rolled back down, right? Instead, he just rolled it up forever and felt like he was always almost making it to the top. One of these days he'll make it to the top, but there's no progress lost. It's just continual progress. There is no end to it. It doesn't actually end up making work. It's just progress. Like, what would be a making of show? Like, what would it be behind the scenes footage show, right? If there wasn't anything to, like, there wasn't anything to be behind for the scenes, right? Like, it's such a weird, like, it's just pure production. It's like almost like a tutorial, but there's no teaching involved. Like, it's just pure production. And I think that's, I've done that for too long now. I've done it for too long. I've been doing it since September of last year. Like, when you boil it down to it, in different forms, I've been producing it for 6 months. Well, no, more than 6 months, right? September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May now. For 9 months. 9 months I've been just producing it, and not actually having anything. Well, I have like 4 episodes to show for it, and none of them I'm happy with. None of them that I'm like happy with in a formalist sort of context where I know that I could reproduce this endlessly. And I think that's kind of the big problem with it, that there is no structure to build on. And that's probably why the last month has been me just wanting to find the format and focusing on that and playing with that. But I should just not care. I should just focus on just getting it done. To think of what the bare minimum is and just reach for that. Hello, this is this date. Good morning. Back to the morning announcements. Good morning. This is the 23rd of the 5th, 2021. Hope you're all having a lovely day. Been thinking about this. I hope that you have a lovely day. And there we go. And that would be it. Something simple like that. No slides. Or maybe slides if the thoughts were desiring of it. But then to try to do something that's so short, embedded in the live stream, is why I kind of think that it's literally incompatible to move something that is formatted as a short daily event. Because you can't just go live for like 3 minutes. But then I mean, you functionally can, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like that would be at all compatible with either YouTube or Twitch. But then am I fighting with the fact that it needs to be live too much? Are these two aspects so diametrically opposed that they have to be actually separated in order to play off each other, rather than being like fully fused together, like making the live show being the production of the shared show? Is that actually working against the idea of the show, the shared show in general? Because the shared show, like, there isn't really much you can do to produce something so short in 3 hours, right? You can do the research and do all that stuff, but I'm finding that that's not particularly that entertaining or useful to do live, which is probably why it isn't like a common thing. Or maybe it's just the wrong time, because I don't have enough audience for something like that. But either way, there's like, it feels like there's definitely something that I've done wrong with it, or like not done wrong, but I haven't found the correct, or I'm not doing the correct thing for where I am with it. But I'll figure it out. I might just start doing it and then stop caring. I just gotta learn to not care about it. And just treat it like all the other projects, where I just make the work and move on. Concentrate on the bigger picture, not on the individual sections of it. Thinking a lot about it, and that's probably a problem. Me is not lovely these days, but yeah, I understand. It does not feel finished to you, but you keep trying to enjoy the process of making it. That's content too. It's nice being here and seeing it grow. Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's almost inseparable, this like the production of it from the actual show itself now. Because it's festered in itself too long. And I think that the only way really to do it is just to break it and just go, no, I'm just gonna make this. I'm just gonna make this other thing. And then we'll use that as a basis later on. Like we'll just set a far off date and say like by then we'll change the format. But we have to like stick to this plan. This is like we make the show. The live show I'm just gonna work out how to fix. Somehow. Maybe we'll make it into like a morning routine thing. How would you make the minimum of a live stream? What are the shared commonalities for a live stream? It's really hard to say. A person in front of a camera talking for an extended period of time to an audience with live interactions. I'm not saddened by it. I'm just, it's like, there's like this, because like I feel like I should be saddened by it, but it's like what a waste this time has been now. Do you have more fun while making things during the live streams or on your own with no eyes? It's a hard question because I'm not entirely sure. I have a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun on live streams, but I don't think they're much different from each other. There is obviously the aspect of being surveilled when you're on a live stream and you feel like you have to stay on task or perform and stay entertaining. But it's I don't think that really qualifies as making it less or more fun. It just sort of changes the qualities of the time. Because it's kind of like this fake socializing. It's like saying, do you prefer to be around people or do you prefer to be by yourself? It doesn't really, there isn't, they're like different things. So I'm not sure whether, I can't really say whether one is more fun than the other. I was watching a talk yesterday. Well, I guess it was this morning, of Mark Fisher talking at some university in Germany. I'm sure that it's like probably the highest viewed talk by him on YouTube. And he was, I mean, you can interact and get feedback, but it can be destructive too. I mean, yeah, it can be, but it's not like, it doesn't like bother me. It doesn't like stop me having fun. It's like just a different activity, I would say. But it's not like either of them have different outputs. Although I assume that I'm more productive in 3 hours working by myself than I am 3 hours working on stream. But then there's been other times where I've been more productive on stream than in just by myself. So it's really a hard one for me to judge. Maybe that would change with if I had more audience. Maybe it would become less fun to do it in front of audience. But I don't know. And it's not like I don't have like a a way of testing that. But yeah, I was watching this talk by Mark Fisher, and like Mark Fisher, writer of Capitalist Realism, talking about like the phrase the slow cancellation of the future, where like all time periods, it's not so much the end of history, but it's like I guess it kind of is a little bit, but there is no longer a way to properly distinguish time periods through art. I think is his main argument, kinda. There's like no way of there is no, you can't imagine futures anymore. We just live now and incorporate aspects of the past into the now. And yeah, I think about this not a lot, but I think about this semi-regularly, and like how it plays into these daily logging projects. Because like there's nothing really other than the speech for a lot of them, that the speech or the like the fact that it's dated, that distinguishes one from another. They all just fall into the same thing. And they're always even included as like one big project. You don't name individual entries in a log like that. Vlogs are a bit different because they do have different contents, because you fill them with days most of the time. But with the substance of a day. But it's like a very most of the dated projects, the ones I mentioned, like Drea's Tagun, what is it? Tagun Gunt Dag, something like that. Day by day, good day. Tagunt Tag, something Dag Tag. And then Anquara's date paintings is like, they're both devoid of that content that makes vlogs different. But it's like the difference between each of the paintings is subtle. It's like in the paintings of the glass, you see the reflections and the lights inside of the studio. Obviously, with the date paintings, the format changes of the date, and the color of the background changes, and the font, I think, changes over time too. And it's like there is difference between these things, but they're all still thrown into the same pot. I guess it's the same way that a lot of creators on YouTube are. Like you say, when you talk about a creator, you're generally not talking about a specific video. You're talking about their like library of videos, in the same way that you talk about a person as the stuff that they put out. It's why I don't think there is much distinction between art and artist, and I don't think that you can truly separate the art from the artist. You can like augment it with your own experiences, but I don't think that like you can separate art and artist. It is like quintessentially like art that somebody makes is an extension of themselves. It is part of them, part of their immortality project, part of them. So, with that in mind, what matters of the difference between them? What do you make those differences? How do you make those differences? Is it truly random? Not in the case of the date paintings or the cups. Not in the case of David Lynch's weather report. Not in the cases of the Half-Life 3 news by Hazard, something Hazard. Hazard time. they it's there's the what makes it interesting is that it changes, and that is so fast. But there's always a bare minimum that you can expect. There's always something that you can grab onto. In this, I guess it is the exact same thing as like. It really does boil down creation of both personality and of like vlogging into. I don't even know what it would be, because it's almost like the abstraction above vlogging and above content creation, like video essays, and above series of art. It's like, I want to just call it art in general, but not all art shares this quality. So it's obviously below art in it, where there is a theme that is shared amongst all of the parts of this group. That is a through line, and it's a constant. Not just in the host, but in certain aspects of the content. And that might be a bit vague or wordy, but I do wonder if to shave something down to just those fundamental parts will be worth it. But then I can't not wonder it until I'm making it, right? It's like I can't know the answer to it. Sorry, I can wonder all I want, but I won't know until I do it. And then that sort of, it does take off that worry about making the work, because I always have something. But then is that something too low that I will feel disappointed by making it? But then I'm probably just overthinking it entirely. I should probably just do it. Some of my favorite videos from the daily vloggers that I used to watch were the ones that were obviously rushed, where they just wanted to make the deadline. Not because they felt the most authentic or the best quality or like honest, but it like showed the limits of what that was, what those things are. And in most of the cases when I saw it happen, it was like the bare minimum was like talking, going over the day, intro, because intros were a big thing then, like the end slate, and being uploaded on time. That was the points. And there is something quite nice about that. Whether they would have ever been as big as they were if they only had that video, that sort of video, is not in question to me, but I would assume not. Now, is the variety over the length of a series of daily vlogs what makes it important? If it is the same day in and day out, if the most exciting video that someone made was the same video basically they made every time, would they be more or less successful than they would be otherwise? Probably less successful, because people like the difference. But then you always, like, I think about like a music genre like rock. I don't know too much about rock, but from my impression of it is that when people step outside of a certain style, happens with some parts of hip hop too, where if an artist tries something outside of a style, people will dislike it because they just want to listen to they wouldn't listen to the same stuff of the albums that they fell in love with. And whether like an artist does that or not, I guess means that they're more authentic in most people's eyes, but I don't know, it's really hard to judge. I feel like these aspects of creation is like not a thing that I've heard many people talk about. Because there is a lot of problems with live streams. People can't watch them at their own leisure, really. They're too long for the most part, especially for smaller creators. I'm sure that a few people watch office hours when it's finished, and it'll be a handful. And I'm sure a lot more people watch bigger creators because that's just how numbers work, right? But in terms of shareable content, I would doubt that many people would send office hours to other people. It's not really like a spreadable thing. And even so, even with bigger creators, unless there's like an aspect in that stream, that 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour stream, or whatever somebody has done, unless there's like a certain moment in that, in which case they would just link the timestamp. It wouldn't be shared. It wouldn't be spread. But then is spreading important? Is growth important? I'm not entirely sure it is for this work. I've been doing that I'm awake, I'm alive, I'm orange artwork for a very long time now. It has been almost a decade since I started doing that. I started tweeting it in December 2012. And why do I do it? I don't do it just to do it. I do it because it's an acknowledgement that I'm here. And that in this moment of time, I am definitely these two things. Was it that that stupid philosopher, what's his name? The only thing that I know is that I think. Right? What is it? The only thing I know for sure is that I have thoughts. Slovicism. Yeah. The only one's own mind is sure to exist. That's so stupid. Really subjective idealism. Yeah. That's dumb. I think it's dumb anyway. Mostly because it relies on the idea that you know what existence is, and if that's what your mind is producing, then anything that you think exists, kind of. Because in order for you to think and exist, it's stupid shit. It's like, this is like a pointless thought experiment to me. While I'm awake, I love live content. Even while doing something before bed, I'm on the phone or whatever puts me to sleep. If I didn't watch a live stream, I'm interested, but got busy. Yeah. And I'm sure there's a few people that are like that. And sometimes I'm like that, but I don't know. I think I just need to like do it. I need to just make the work. And be uncomfortable and just be there. and not attempt this whole entertaining, informative thing as like being a main motive, and just the main motive being just being there. I think that's a through run of a lot of my work, is just to make these time-based acknowledgements of existence. Otherwise, just sound, I don't even know whether it sounds pretentious. It's like, so I'm so stuck in that mindset that it's like, it's an obvious thing to me that like the work that I make is just acknowledging existence a lot of the time. It's not for its own sake, it's not for anyone's sake, but it's just a friendly reminder that goes, hey, we're still here. It's like, what's the point in a tick of a clock, other than like to just remind you that a second has passed, right? It's not a tick for its own sake. It's a tick to just note that that time is gone now. Well, that time has arrived. A second in the future has arrived. A weird way to think about it. Passing through that moment. I don't know when I'll start doing the simple daily work. At the latest, I think it'll be June 1st. And then we'll just have something out every day. What time of day it will be and what format it will be in. Well, what format it will be in will be the simplest I can do, at least. Today's date is this. This is what's going on. This is what's on my mind. Hope you have a good day. And time of day it would be in the morning. How I can incorporate this into the live streaming aspect is like a very hard thing. Maybe it would be tread as an extension to the show. The show being now just the daily video, and then the live show being a very extended version of that. I think that could work. But I do want to get back to daily streaming, so it might become like a normal staple of it. I think I'm just sort of starting to admit defeat that streaming it live isn't exactly worth it. Cutting 2 minutes out of a live stream. You know, going live for an hour or two just to take 2-3 minutes out of it. When it's something this simple. With all the work, it kind of makes sense, right? To like make all the daily headlines and the slideshows and substance to it beyond what the minimum would be. But when it's just the minimum, there doesn't feel like a need for it to be live. But then I don't know how I would schedule something like that. whether we like have set days for long shows or whether whether like it is like done a day in advance. I don't know. What is the point in a show that doesn't get made? I'm so warm. I'm gonna be right back. If my little screen will let me. Actually, I think I have to press this button, don't I? There we go. Be back in a second. Hi. I'm Gussie. Ooh. Oh, can I not just press that button and it work anymore? It's fine. Oh, this is a new pen. I've been getting a little bit better at catching up with my with journaling. I've been particularly bad at it this past year, despite having a lot more time than usual to do it. It's I guess because I didn't really have much to write down. Well, that's a lie. I don't know. I think I just dropped out of doing it for a bit. I think it really gets hard to track a lot of things when you don't have solid beginnings and ends of days. Because I had this problem when I was doing my 4 hours sleep time as well. Where like beginnings and ends of days didn't land on really midnight, and I would lose an hour or two here and there in planning. But the last week or two since I've been doing this whole working on this artwork outside has been a lot. I've been able to use my journal a lot more. I haven't reread over Refocus for a while, actually. I should probably reread it. I used to read that every day, but I forgot to write it in when I did this journal. So it's like there's only bits of it, like the more memorable lines of it that I remember. So I'm gonna go find a copy of that. It's so the last time I wrote it in was August. This might sound stupid or gross, but I have a problem with eating I do not know for a middle. So my hunger and feeling of fullness is going up and down. Yeah, I have that sometimes too. I think you just have to start seeing it as well, if you've got problems with sleep, you should probably try to get medication for that. If you can't figure out what it is, if you have a lot of coffee, then that might be fucking you up. As well, caffeine is an appetite suppressant, so you have to take that into factor. You can't really trust your hunger when you have a lot of caffeine and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I've always had problems with food too. I've gotten better at it over the years, but I need to really habitize it. Habitize? Habitize feels like the right word. If that is a word, habitize. Habituate, I think, might be the English word. Nothing suppresses your appetite. Just pain. Well, then eat. If you've got appetite, do it. Eat it. Did you not just say that your appetite goes up and down? So my hunger and feeling of fullness is going up and down. Okay. Yes, I still like write your own rules. Solve, don't develop problems. Everything has its place. Cultivate a daily practice. Always look for the helpers. I think I might drop always be spotting problems and replace that with it won't fail because of me. Won't fail because of me. Always be giving credit. Build systems, not habits. Maybe I need to systematize eating. It's this house been thinking I can't live with people at all. Don't live alone if you can. Figure out how to live alone and then strive towards that. If you know what the problems are, then try to figure out solutions for those problems. And if you can't figure out those solutions to problems, you need to work out how you can change your reaction to those problems. Know when to break the rules. Note down important things. Finish what you start. Keep it simple. Stupid. I have not been living up to this. I have so many projects to finish. And I think I need to move this show to somewhere where it can be a back burner and not be something that I'm thinking about so much. I think it's getting in the way. I think it's getting in the way entirely. My education is my only problems. I should not have the other ones. Yeah, but if you do have the other ones... Exactly. If you have other problems, they get in the way. In the same way that the show is becoming a problem for me, even though it's like somewhat my primary focus. It's gotten to the point now where it's not being done, but yet all I'm doing is it. Well, not all I'm doing is it, but it takes a lot of my mind space, despite not actually, like, it's not actually making any progress, not real progress. It's not being produced. No, it's not making progress, but it is continually being in a state of production. Yes, but it's never being produced. There we go. And it's having the effect of stopping everything else. Like, I can't even remember when the last time was that I made an artwork for myself, or an artwork that wasn't this. It wasn't the show or something related to the show. That was external to it in some way. It's just like all encompassing now. Because I know that as well, that I work best when I have two or more things going on. When I can mode switch between two things, when one gets into a ideological rump and I just need to let it fester in the back of my head, I can work on something else and then move forwards, rather than just like overthink the one thing that I'm working on. And I always, this is like one of the bigger things for me, is like I always forget, and that's the case. And then without deadlines, there's no way of measuring it. No way of measuring whether you're actually like getting anywhere or whether it's just staying as a pipe dream. So I need to just start. The same way as I just started doing office hours and never stopped. I need to do the same for the show. I need to just make it. I might keep the orange background, the orange cloud background. I think it's better than the blue one. Even when I've got like the uniform for that one. As I'm looking at this, so I turned off the frame. So the frame can determine whether it's a live show or something like that. And then I can have this being the main set. Absolutely drawn back to its fundamentals. You know. The final episode, well, and the next episode of the Onision documentary comes out soon. Last episode of the Onision documentary. It's going to be interesting. Gabby, Hannah, and Stan culture. Oh. I'm just so bored of commentary now. I feel like I'm so bored of it anyway. I think I need to watch a couple of documentaries and then get back to making. Work it out. What's this message? Okay, I need action on that later. I'm too, but I'm mad. They are right about her. I give her lots of room. Yeah, she is a kind of frustrating individual, but I don't know whether I really. I don't know. I don't know. She's obviously not well. I think that the commentary community in general is starting to get the idea of inaction. I think it's starting to have its like its birth in it. Oh, I don't know your name before. Welcome to the channel. I'm alright. Having a nice relaxed time. Thinking about my show as ever. Having a great philosophical debate in my brain about same old shit. How you doing? been up to much? I feel a bit like Marvin the paranoid android. That doesn't sound right. Marvin the android from Hitchhiker's Guide. Except from not quite as depressive. But I guess that's his only trait. I am feeling a little bit like a broken record of just creating and recreating and creating and recreating over and over and not getting anywhere. Or getting everywhere, but it's just the same wares. It's not actually everywhere. And it's like I'm stuck to this certain infinity that I can't remove myself from. Not without probably just standing still and making it. Wow, Time has 12,000 subs now. Still only getting a couple of hundred views per video. It's awesome though. I love that work. Even though I don't think there is much thought gone into it, I think it's amazing. Just a guy reporting on Half-Life 3 news every day. Has done for, what day is it now? 1,287 days now. Army of the Dead movie. I don't know Army of the Dead. Snyder. It's not like I've had long to know about it, so no wonder I haven't heard of it. The Dead Poets Society, I've heard that being good, but again, haven't consumed. Las Vegas was walled off from the rest of the holiday. What's my favorite director in Hollywood? I'm not really into most directors that do Hollywood shit, but if you're asking about like film in general, who are my favorite directors? I do really like Gaspar Noé. Gaspar Noé, sorry. I like him quite a lot. And I don't know. Yeah, apart from really Gaspar Noé, and I guess Satoshi Kon, if you can really count him, that's anime. I like them. Not really sure. And I like the guy from the guy that did Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. You can classify him as being Hollywood. Park Chan-wook, yeah. Because he did Snowpiercer, and then also the Snowpiercer series, or he was producer for the series, but he was director for the film, I think. Oh no, he was producer for the film too. Interesting. Either way, I really like that guy. He's real cool. I like his work. I've liked a lot of his work. All of Vengeance trilogy is amazing. I'm Cyborg and That's Okay is amazing. GSA is pretty great. Haven't seen The Handmaiden. Old Boy is obviously amazing. Dop and Colorist. Four favorite DOP and colorist. I'm not sure what you're saying here, sorry. Like, who was my favorite colorist in Hollywood? I don't really have a favorite colorist, and I'm not familiar with the term DOP right now. Director of photography. No, I don't know enough of them to like make any sort of judgment. I can't even think of a single one, to be honest, which is a shame. It's like I don't know many of the people that do the adjustments. Like I don't know many camera people either. Like people who don't even direct, but like move cameras around. You know, who physically move cameras around and adjust. I can't think of even what the term is for the people who adjust focal length and focus at the same time, or one of the other. I can't think what it's called. But I don't think many people have a favorite colorist and director of photography, to be fair. Eurovision was yesterday. I didn't really watch any of it. I watched that like trailer and stopped it halfway through. Too distracted. My hobbies is filmmaking. I don't play guitar. Fair enough. I have watched quite a lot of film, but I just don't take note of who makes them. Because I had and still have a subscription to Movie, and for a long time I would watch the film of the day every day. I do want to get back to that habit at some point, but it's kind of hard when I don't have anyone to talk about them with. It's like I have no motivation to watch these movies, except from in the context of being able to use them for something. And if I'm not thinking about creative projects, there is no point in me doing it, or creative projects that are relevant to it. Because I don't really do things much for entertainment at all in my life. Maybe that's what I need to get back to. But yeah, I would watch every film of the day for like a long time. That kind of introduced me to a guy that did what was it, the house that Jack built. Gaspinois, no, sorry, Gaspino. The Suspiria, both the original and the remake. What else? Some amazing Swedish folks that I would never have watched. But I record every film that I watch. Not record as in with a camera, but record in a journal that I've watched it. But yeah, my habit of watching films is died down quite a lot recently. I think mostly because like every time I watch a new film that isn't like an indie director, I'm like, this is just mind numbing. I just need to watch something that has more substance to it and isn't just a cash grab. But finding out those films is like a hard thing, and it seems like TV and series have much better ways of getting the indie directors to actually make stuff. Indie directors and indie writers. The film industry sort of has fallen a little bit on that. I don't have any like filmmaking experience at all. I don't think. No, I can't think of any time that I've worked in any film production. But I did work at a cinema for a while, teaching. But the video, it did do some. I've done a lot of video editing in my time, but that's mostly for my own projects or for knowing how to in order to do things at different work placements. But I wouldn't really call myself a filmmaker. I feel like it's same as I wouldn't really call myself an illustrator, but I've done illustration, you know. If I had to label myself as something, I'd be a designer. But even then, it kind of falls apart because I love ours read. Okay, I don't know this. Let me see if I've seen anything by them. Before the rain. Is this an actor? Actor and director. Doesn't really direct much though, just mostly acts. was in Downton Abbey. Weird coincidence. And X-Men. And Taken 2. Wild. Cool though. You've never seen him in films. He's had a lot of cameos and castings. He was in Harry Potter as well. Wild. Very prolific. He's only got one director role. Yeah, the liberation of Scopage. Scopage? No, IMDb. Are you sure you've got the right person? Yeah, only one director stuff. But on IMDb, he has a shit ton of acting roles. Yeah, covering so many different genres and places. Though mostly smaller roles in Western films. I don't know the films, obviously I don't know. Wow, was he in Memento? A different Memento. Okay. That would have been a pretty crazy connection. I really need to watch Memento. Memento's one of those films that's I've had it recommended to me enough times that I really should have watched by now. And then also that movie. It sounds such a stupid concept, but the one where the guy can't fall asleep and he has to like shock himself. That's another film. Crank. That's it. I think it's called Crank. I have to watch this film at some point too. Crank. I think there's a couple of sequels as well. His adrenaline has to keep flowing, otherwise he dies. Yeah, there was a sequel called High Voltage where he used to shock himself. So crazy. It sounds like it's so bad. A man slicing off his own nipples. What? What is this film? But it's like high action, the film. Yeah, if his adrenaline doesn't drop, if it drops down, you have to he dies. And in the second one, he has to charge himself up in order to stay alive. It's so ridiculous. How long have we gone? An hour and a half. We're only halfway. It feels like I've been talking for hours. Good God. Yeah, Memento, and then there's another film as well that's somewhat like Memento. That had like different cuts depending on where you saw it. But like from one cinema to the next, not like country by country. I can't think of the name. I think it was a Figgis. I think it was a Figgis film. Because he came from Newcastle. The guy that made the thing that I'm thinking about. Time Code. Yeah. It's nothing like Memento. But in my mind, it's linked very strongly. The film is constructed from 4 continuous 93-minute takes that were filmed simultaneously by 4 cameras. Screens divided into quarters, and the 4 shots are shown simultaneously. The film depicts several groups of people in Los Angeles as they interact and conflict while preparing for the shooting of a film or production office. In a production office. The dialogue is largely improvised, and the sound mix of the film is designed so the most significant of the 4 sequences on screen dominates the soundtrack at any given moment. The film takes place in and around a film production company office and involves several interweaving plot threads, which includes a young actress named Rose who tries to score a screen test from her secret boyfriend Alex Green, a noted and disillusioned director. Meanwhile, Rose's tryst with him is discovered by her girlfriend Lauren, an insanely jealous businesswoman who plants a microphone in Rose's purse and spends most of the time in the back of her limousine parked outside the office building listening to Rose's conversations. Elsewhere, Alex's wife Emma is seen with a therapist, debating and asking him for a divorce. In the meantime, numerous film industry types pitch ideas for the next big hit film. It's such an interesting idea. Again, this reminds me of Tracy Fragments, which is a film that I have seen, which has a similar sort of weird multiple camera movie thing going on. Tracy Fragments, which is starring a younger Elliot Page, which is amazing. It is such a beautiful film. It's got really bad reviews, and it really should have bad reviews, but it's really good. I really enjoy it. It's like such an assault on your eyes. And there was a version of it cut where it's like a regular film. So there's a project that they made here. I'm just going to read from the Wikipedia article for it. Tracy Refragmented was a project by the director and producers that was launched on October 29th, 2007, and made available all footage from the film shoot and the soundtrack to download and remix their own related projects, including music videos, new trailers, or to re-edit the entire movie themselves. The footage was released under a Creative Commons license as 4 torrents, each approximately 4 gigs in size. Registration for the project ended on the 31st January 2008. A contest was held for the best use of the footage, and the winner getting a Final Cut Pro software prize pack, the winning material being included on the DVD release. In addition to a video by Ottawa-based punk band Sedatives, this was the first time in the history of cinema that a director made free downloads of the film available to fans concurrent with the film's theatrical release. And we have a years-long TV short series about 3 people in an office. It's like 10 minutes max of comedy. Lazy office people working from government's budget, and us giving taxes and not. Yeah, I feel like most countries have this like format of show in one form or another. It seems to be a really popular theme for a show. I stopped watching it 3 years more ago. I got too loud. Acting is too much. Yeah. I don't know. I'm really disillusioned with like that sort of long-running comedy stuff, especially if they don't cycle through people. I really like Tracy Fragments. I might watch it again soon. Absolutely amazing film. At least I enjoyed it anyway. It's honestly one of the wildest looking. You know what? I'm gonna find a trailer of it. Oh, is the whole film uploaded to YouTube? I guess it would be, wouldn't it? There would be somebody who's put it up. It's Creative Commons. I'll play the trailer here. This one, here we go. This is so funny. I'm gonna make it. There we go. Nope. There we go.
My name is Tracy Berkowitz. 15. Just a normal girl who hates herself. I'm really worried that I'm going insane.
This trailer is not really giving much of a good impression of what it's actually like.
Fuck up. My brother's been gone for 2 days.
Oh, here we go. It's getting a little bit more like it, but it's significantly more calm, this trailer, than what the film is actually like.
I'm looking for my younger brother, Sonny. He's 9.
Sonny, 9? Yeah, I know him. I'll give you a ride. When the blizzard passes, I will find your brother.
What if he's dead, you know?
He's not fucking dead.
I've looked all over for him, okay? I've looked everywhere.
There's one on the fucking floor!
At times it's literally impossible to watch. This is so frustrating. It's such a terrible... Was that like a... Oh, made this for my editing class. Okay, so that was a fan-made trailer. Let me...
My name is Tracy Berkowitz.
Is this the actual... Yeah. Okay, here we go. This will make me much better impression of
Just a
it.
normal girl who hates herself.
I was gonna say, it's like...
We looked for Sonny for 2
Not
days.
like it at all.
He never came back.
We've got a crisis here!
Everything's a crisis! We have to find him.
Why don't you go home? Go home.
I'm looking for my brother, Sonny. He's 9.
Sonny, 9. Yeah, I know him. We'll give you a ride.
You know Sonny?
But this is like what the film is actually like, with all of these like cut up panels and stuff.
I love you, Tracy Berkowitz.
They never should have grounded me. Now I have nothing.
You forget about our little deal? Listen, it was very dry out there.
The other day, something happened. I can't tell you what. Or you'll end up like me, on this bus, looking for someone.
It's great. It's so good. It's absolutely crazy to watch. I need to watch it again. Because I love some of the framing of it so much. Oh, and it's been so long since I've watched it. Because I swear I must have watched it in like 2012. At the latest. It was so good. I think that was the first time I heard of Elliot, actually, was this through this film. Even though I think this is post Juno too. Yeah, I think it's a couple of months after. Yeah, it's Elliot Page. So it's crazy because like this is like some random Canadian independent film. It's post X-Men and only slightly post Juno, but it's so good. It's like, I mean, I don't think that it was well received because it is like a pain to watch, I think, at times. It's hard to follow occasionally, but you get the gist, and I think that's what's most important about it. It's a very fun thing to watch. Try to do something really interesting, and then the whole releasing all of the footage as Creative Commons is amazing. He went through a lot of heavy roles and stories. Yeah, he has. It's pretty wild. I'm not seeing any of his smaller, his like earlier roles. I think Juno's probably the earliest role that I've watched. Well, I guess I've also seen X-Men, if that counts. Although Elliot did make a good Kitty Pryde, so I guess it does. Ooh. I just accidentally triggered the thing on my chat. It made myself really small. There we go. That's better. Almost 2 hours in. Not sure anything super important. Okay. He went through a lot of heavy rolls, yeah. Still got another hour left, an hour and 10. I am pretty much just out of things. Out of things to talk about, which is annoying. My head is just empty at the minute because I've been working so much on these artworks. I guess it's good to just stop, pause, run for a bit. I gotta run for a bit on the show stuff. I know I've got some work to do after this, and then maybe I'll just start doing the show. This week shouldn't be as busy as it was last week, so I think I'll be live a lot more over on Twitch this week. But I don't know. It's the thing. Maybe I'll just turn Twitch into what YouTube was for me, where I just go and do work, show something cool, make various things, experiment, and have record the show not live most of the time, just to get it out. I'll decide on something and then do it. Been super distracted by all this work, which is a good thing to be distracted by, but also I'm kind of wishing I hadn't taken it so that I would have more time, and hadn't taken that because I had just gotten momentum up for making everything. So it is kind of annoying that the momentum was just taken of my sales rather than incorporated into the work, you know. Had a few things watching Just Everything's Family Problems Realistic. A few years watching Just Everything's Family Problems Realistic, Possible or True Stories, Psychological Things, so I remember his face from it. Side Black Panther and Hunger Games, yeah. I don't remember watching sci-fi. Most sci-fi is quite nasty anyway. It's mostly boring stuff. Some stuff is really interesting, but for the most part, I think sci-fi as a genre could be much, much better than it is. I think it's too obsessed with... It's the same with fantasy as well. They seem to be, a lot of the time, obsessed with making spectacle. I think that's also one of the big failings of zombie movies as well. A lot of the time. In zombie media. And even superhero movies to an extent. Like the spectacle of flashing lights and stuff take precedent over the story. Like I've been really enjoying the newer seasons of what's it called? The Expanse. Although it did have a bit of a weak season, but then I think that's just because the source material is really, I mean, it changes so much over the course of the series that it kind of makes sense that it would be so varied from one season to the next. But recently, it's the newer stuff is quite great, and the same with if you can even call it sci-fi, For All Mankind, the Apple TV series. That's pretty great as well, if you can even call it sci-fi. Basically, just alternative history, I would say, is what it probably is. Things like Batman and Harry Potter, I did not watch. Not against it. I just don't have a person that would make me interested. Yeah, Batman, for the most part, most of the movies that I've seen of Batman has been boring and just like fall through my brain. Just a rich guy running around in tights. And Harry Potter is just like, except from the third film, most of them are completely boring. And the third film is just like a semi-interesting time travel movie. And even then, it's not that great. I mean, like, especially the earlier films are like really poorly acted. I had watched, but I watched really things like Her. Her is really good. That's a good sci-fi. Because it very much focuses on like the relationship between. But it does also feel a bit like 500 Days of Summer in that like, it's like, ooh, lonely male protagonist, you know. It's dare I say male gazy in that way. In that like everything is seen through the eyes of this dude. And it's like meant for like everybody else is like a very tiny character. Even the AI itself is like, but then it kind of makes sense within the story for in specifically here. But I don't know. It's it has its faults too. It's a very, very beautiful film though. So and then what other sci-fi films have been interesting recently? Interstellar was interesting with its time travel aspects, but it's a bit, again, that is a bit fantastical at times. Gravity was really fun. I quite liked Gravity. What sci-fi movies have come on recently that were more decent? I suppose there just hasn't really been much cinema out in the past year anyway. Not in terms of like well-known stuff anyway. I don't know. I feel like TV is where it's at the minute. TV seems really good. TV sci-fi has gotten a lot of good points to it recently. Like The Expanse, For Mankind. What else? Maybe I like What's As Humans now. I never talked to them. Someone could really think I'm going crazy. Ooh, I know a film that you would like. Oh my god. It's like a film in 3 parts. It's a Korean film. Where like an android becomes a monk. Android monk, and there's like a virus from a piece of beef. Virus, beef. Movie. I can't think what it's called though. The Monk, no. Android Monk movie. I think it's. Is it Korean? It might not even be Korean, you know. I'm gonna try it. Anyway. Doomsday Book. It's called Doomsday Book, and it's a Korean film. Kim Ji-woon. I don't know any of this other works, but Doomsday Book is real good. And then there's another film that you might like. Cloud Atlas was real good for similar sorts of reasons as her, but took from a different sort of perspective. But I think you would really like Doomsday Book. It's really good. Oh, Boon Joon-ho is actually in Doomsday Book though. Interesting. That must have been how I found out about it. Yeah. I'll post the Wikipedia link in notes. Doomsday Book, and then Cloud Atlas I'll post as well. Which I need to read the book of, because Cloud Atlas, the book, is supposed to be a lot better. Like substantially better. And it's written in a similar sort of way. Because like Doomsday Book is like 3 different movies, one after another, I think. And that's how it's like presented. It's like an anthology. Is it 3 or is it more than 3? It's just 3. Brave New World, Heavenly Creature, and Happy Birthday. But Cloud Atlas is like 6 different stories that all really one story, kinda. It's I can't even think of a way that I could even spoil it, to be honest, but it's all kind of one story. And it spans over hundreds of years, thousands of years probably, and it's like basically like a ball of story where you start off in one story and you end up in the same story, but like you go through many other stories in like this sort of fashion where like you end up with like a complete story in the middle, but then you get half of the story on each side of those. It's interesting. That's the only way I can describe how it was cut. I won't scrub it from notes, don't worry. But yeah, Cloud Atlas is really interesting the way that it's filmed, and it has a bunch of this like interesting futuristic reuse of knowledge over time stuff in it. And in Doomsday Book, specifically the second story, the one about the monk robot thing, I think you would enjoy, because it tackles a lot of that stuff. And there is like in Cloud Atlas, the reason why it came up in my head was there's like an android in Cloud Atlas that I think you would enjoy thinking about the ramifications of. And it sort of plays with expectations a little bit with Cloud Atlas. I'm trying to think about any other great AI movies too. We have this might be like linked to films including androids. Yes, let's have a look. Quick discussion. I'm a Robot and That's Okay would be isn't really about AI, but it's pretty good. and I don't think I'd recommend it in this this place. World's End. I haven't seen that. Whispering Star. The film. Now, who was that directed by? Because they were great as well, weren't they? Spike Jonze. Spike Jonze. Can't pronounce names properly. I think I've seen. Yeah, Being John Malkovich is so good. I forgot about that. I'm Here. I haven't seen that. That sounds fun. What was that movie that I got recommended? Simple Tiny title I sent to you a month ago. Don't know. I can't think. Lady AI, that doesn't. Robot and Frank. You would really like Robot and Frank. Robot and Frank is real fun. That's a really good film as well. That would be like perfect. That's like as good as Her. I was completely gone from my brain until just now. I'm like so surprised at how little that had stuck in my brain until just now. Absolutely amazing film, that. You would really enjoy it. You'd really enjoy Robot and Frank. I've also posted that in notes. Oh, it's so good. About a domestic robot. Like, I'm surprised at how effectual that movie was. Jean-Luc Godard. It's a familiar name. Oh, I know this dude. Yeah, I think I've watched a couple of these. I need to get back to watching movies again. I need to. So much good movies on them. And they're so useful for references and for yeah, well, mostly for references. Also, that guy French skirt for him. Bought a French skirt for him. If I could just share it, I'd be jealous if I could. However, I'm recently struggling to come out to his father. Good. He treats himself. Yeah. It's always good to treat yourself sometimes. It's one thing I don't do enough. Upgrade. I seen that. Zoe was another film I have to see at some point. I do just need to like set a week aside and just watch a ton of films that are just on lists. Just have my own little film festival. And I've got the same with books and stuff too. And projects. I just need to get to it. But it's hard to just do that sometimes, isn't it? Get so distracted by so many other things. It's not even that the motivation is there, it's just that like the level of importance is so low that you just never get around to it. I probably spent so much more time saying that I should watch this film that like I could have probably watched the film in the amount of time that I spent saying I should watch it. Or maybe not quite, but I bet it's close, especially for something like that, like Memento. I swear I will have probably mentioned that I should watch it. The amount of time that I've spent saying I should watch it, it probably far outweighs the runtime of the film now. Or you feel guilty, so you rest by watching Into the Void. What, as in Into the Void, the movie Into the Void? Because Gasper has a movie called Into the Void, I'm pretty sure. Enter the Void, my mistake. Which is amazing. It's a very amazing film that I do highly recommend. But just know that it's very intense. I also need to finish watching his discography as well, because I think I've seen Love. Yeah, which was a bit yikes. At times. But then, and I've seen Enter the Void, and I've seen Irreversible, but I haven't seen the oldest film, I Stand Alone, and I haven't seen Climax, which both sound amazing. I love that. So this description from Climax: the film is notable for its unusual style and production, having been conceived and pre-produced in only 4 weeks and shot in chronological order in only 15 days. Although no conceived the premise, the large majority of the film was unrehearsed, on-the-spot improvisation by the cast, who were given no lines of dialogue beforehand and had almost complete liberty as to where to take the story and the characters. Climax features unusual editing and cinematography choices, and includes several long takes, including one lasting over 42 minutes. The cast, not only is that pretty wild, you will not have seen Climax. This is a film that you don't forget, because it's just such a bizarre sounding film that, like, so this is the poster for him. The cast of the film consists almost exclusively of dancers who, aside from Brutella and Suhelia Yacoub, had no previous acting experiences. So it's a bunch of random dancers made a film that has some shots that are just it's just 42 minutes long. Throwing an after party after a rehearsal, the celebration takes a darker turn when everyone becomes increasingly agitated and confused after consuming sangria laced with LSD. It sounds nuts, especially like the style of editing that Gaspar is known for. Like, I can only imagine what it's like. Fuck it, I'm gonna look up the trailer, because I've never looked up the trailer for this specific film. So let's have a watch of that together. You mentioned 27 movies and things before Climax. Yeah, I did. So be it. I don't even know whether this will get me dinged or anything, but who gives a shit?
What would you do? Suicide. Ça représente quoi la danse pour toi? C'est tout pour moi. La danse, c'est tout pour moi. J'ai que ça.
Est-ce que t'es prêt à beaucoup de choses pour réussir?
C'est-à-dire?
Oh, you're so good. Thank you. Liked it? Thanks. I'm so happy. I couldn't be happier.
Truc qui monte.
Qu'est-ce que t'as? Tu sais, garde le secret.
It looks so fun.
Ce qui ne me tue pas me rend plus forte.
Yeah, by far my favorite director. That's why I had no hesitation saying Gaspar Noé, compared to trying to think of any other director. But he's French, so I wouldn't really say Hollywood. Irreversible is amazing as well by him. All three films that I've seen from him have been amazing. Like, I just need to work through the rest of his videography, because End of the Void was stunning, and Irreversible was such a mind-blowing experience of just how well executed a story can be told in reverse, which is like the whole premise. You realize it a couple of scenes in that you're actually watching the movie backwards, and it's really intense. Warning, if you do watch Irreversible, it has some very graphic moments in it that are not super easy to watch. In fact, all of the work that I've seen from him has moments that are really not easy to watch. But the film Irreversible, all of the scenes are in reverse order, and it's amazing. There is like a 10-minute long scene where someone's beaten to death, and it's very graphic. And there's like, I think it's about 10 minutes, but there's also like a really bad sexual assault scene that it's just a really hard film to watch at times, but it is one of the best films I think I've ever seen. Absolutely amazing. Like, videography, the acting, the whole idea of the film. It's just so good. The idea that you can tell a story in reverse and still have it like hold suspense and meaning, and just like you're able to follow along pretty decently and understand, and it really works. It really works for the story too. I love it. It's a really good film. Into the Void. I can't remember what Into the Void was about. End of the Void, sorry. Nightclub environments in Tokyo, out-of-body experience. Film is shot from a first-person viewpoint, which often floats above the streets. Yeah, that was like just a very beautiful film for me. Love was, it's a bit much. Threesome turning into a weird triad sort of thing, or it was more like a couple with a third, and then the third gets pregnant and keeps the child. That's spoiling it, but it to be honest, the most of that film doesn't come from the story again. Very good film, but also not his strongest work, but it's still miles better than a lot of other works, a lot of other films that I've seen. Yeah, I need to watch the rest of his works. Does he have anything else coming out soon? And Satoshi Kon is cool too. Satoshi Kon is like anime. I think he died, right? Yeah, he died. a decade ago now. Satoshi Kon. He made some amazing films. Perfect Blue is like just stunning. It's such an amazing film. And Paprika too. Paprika is amazing too, but Perfect Blue is like the perfect film for the modern day. Like if you want to see what stan culture looks like, that's a good film to watch. What else did he? What else was it that he made? Wrote some stuff for JoJo. Paprika was good. Good Morning was a short film that he wrote that was really, really great. Or a short film that he morning. Hey Steffi, good morning. Just talking about a film at the minute. Got half an hour left. Just going over my favorite. I was going over some of my favorite directors' works. Gaspar Noé. And apparently Satoshi Kon worked on Akira too. Akira was a good film. I haven't read the book, but the film was really good. Really enjoyed it. Very pretty. But yeah, Perfect Blue is amazing. Millennium Actress as well is really good. In fact, all of the stuff that I've seen from Satoshi Kon is amazing. Oh, hey, Hales. Welcome. Look, I should make Nightbot do something for that, but yeah, you know. Got half an hour left. Requiem for a Dream. Requiem for a Dream is inspired by Satoshi Kon's one of Satoshi Kon's films. Like there's a lot of like crossover between the shots. Yeah, Perfect Blue is very similar to, I think it is Requiem for a Dream that Perfect Blue is similar to. In terms of the cinematography, at least. But Perfect Blue is like an anime, so. Yeah, it is. It's Perfect Blue. Is there like a side by side? Yeah, of the bathtub scene in particular is the one that people point to, but there's a lot of it's like very thematically similar in places. Oh, my compositor crashed again. I have no idea whether this is actually on screen. Compositor, yeah, it is on screen. Okay. Oh, there we go. But yeah, it's this thing. Oh, well, that ended real quick. 12 seconds. Satoshi Kon. Yeah, it is worth checking out if you haven't seen it. I could do so much that is bad for my health. I think you would get a lot out of Into the Void. Or Enter the Void, sorry. Because it's a very similar film. Is my microphone out sync? I think it is. But yeah, it totally is. Have a quick switcheroo. Okay. Can't be out of sync if it's not moving. Okay, there we go. Grayed out and back to the right colors. Although I am a bit dark today, I think. A bit low in brightness. But it would also be kind of hard to watch. But yeah, to briefly mention what I said prior in this stream, I'm just going to be cutting the show back down to like its absolute fundamentals and just try to get something out every day instead of like spending so much time working on finding the perfect format. So at the latest, starting on June 1st, I will be putting out something every day. Whether I'll be streaming every day is another question, but something will be posted on this channel every day. It will be similar to what the morning announcements era of things were, but just really cut down. But it could also expand out to something bigger too. I just want to start getting into the habit, and everyone used to the idea of having a piece of daily content from me in a nice bite-sized chunk. I binge watched the weather reports by David Lynch, and I was like, fuck it. If David Lynch can do it, I can. Do it my own unique style. I cut down the set too. So if you've been following on Twitch, the set looked something. Well, here's some tests from yesterday, from Friday. It looked similar to this, right? Muscled knives. But I removed the border, and now we're like super clean. Good morning, you know. And we probably will keep the orange background. Actually, you know what? I've never tested the I never tested the infinite background when it's like this. Do you have a look at what that's like? Okay, and then boop. We'll turn off the clouds. Actually, I should probably turn off the delays as well. There we go. The clouds, this one. Okay. And then studio mode off. Oh, this is interesting, actually. I like that it collapses into a specific feeling of noise. This table is totally unshot though. What an interesting visual effect it gives. Don't know. Am I really dark? I feel like this is like super dark. Properties. Brightness. I'll just bring up the brightness there instead of probably leveling it. But this is a really interesting way to have that echo of background. Like the flashing stripes. I can do this. That's fun. It's a really fun little effect. I have too much fun with this sort of thing, I think. Although I can't find a decent placement ever for the microphone. Because then it gets too in shot if I'm like this. Alright. There we go. Oh no. Made it full screen. There we go. Office hours again. It's fun. And colored things should still do their it's not as much of a transition. I don't have anything that isn't orange to hand. Orange or green. There is literally everything that I own is orange or green right now. There is literally nothing I can bring on screen that won't be destroyed by the green screen. That's so funny. I love the mic, it's unique. No one has that one. I love it in shot. It is pretty fun, especially from the side, and it does have a unique aesthetic to it. Also, it's very weird when I don't have the pop filter on. There we go. Sorry that was so loud, but I don't care that much. Yeah, I don't have anything that really I can bring on screen that can show the changes in color. Like if I bring this little friend out. How wild these things are. Good morning. Let's just take this table in here, put this little can here, and it'll go to infinity. Right? Kinda. I think I have to put it at the edge of the thing so that it. That was so loud while smiling from ear to ear, enjoying it. I saw you. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's loud for me as well because I can hear it back. So just know I'm not inflicting it just on you and whoever happened to have been listening. Or I do notice that we did lose a few people there. I enjoy fucking with people sometimes. What's going on in general channel? I don't know. It might be just too distracting to have it like this, though. I'll think about it. Oh. So. Background scene, which will come off. So it'll be just see this nice clean background. How wonderful! Oh, this background here. Oh, I know why it wasn't doing the colored loop thing. Because I had the wrong background on. It should be this one. There we go. So now it should be it should be much better. Such a nice quality to it. The color doesn't change that much, actually. Not as much as the stuff from the frame did. Bring the frame back. Yeah. But it loops around so quickly back to orange and then just like falls into this orangey, yellowy, pixeled mess. Oh wow, when I speak, the little Discord thing puts little rings which are sent along the long tube behind it. That's so fun. Yeah. Wow. Okay, let's turn this ridiculous visual off. There we go. I've paused it. And then I can probably turn it off. There we go. Orange and clouds. Much nicer. Much more relaxed. Except for I'm on the wrong scene. I should be on an office house. There we go. How long we got? 20 minutes left. Get, got blibbers to my head, be a holla popping off the fucking block, now clock and wristlet, watchman thought about. Tailpipe dragon, volume, blasting, bailing out my brain. Red light flash, stop by smash. Abraxas, hydroplane, massive, catches flight for rain and madness, mastermind, unless they have a black catfish tail waves the stratus. Go right to fall a flame. Don't wait for me if I care about anything. Anywhere, losing myself. I can stare. That's what I'm looking at. Wasn't there. Nothing that can stay inside. Hit the bar. Sleep deprived. You drove the car. I'm still alive. God. Don't change your name, keep it the same. Fear I may lose you again. I know you won't, it's just that I don't wanna have to find you when something good happens. Hmm. 15 minutes. Going a bit crazy. It's like that office hours where I was just running around, making noises for 3 hours. Calmed down a lot since then. Ooh. Got an iPhone here. No update yet. Oh, I love it so much. I haven't heard it in so long now. Lullaby, even though it's probably not even that long. Lullaby for strangers. Fuck. No, lullaby for warriors, maybe. Warriors, that was it. I'll get there. No, come on. Well, lullaby for warriors. Fuck. Elephant 6. I think it was on Elephant 6. Yes. Thimble Circus. Thimble Circus. What was it? The Spaniards. Yeah, this is it. Oh, that's fun. Great album in general. But that track 2, has been in my head over the past almost 2 decades, more than I would really like to admit. It is so catchy. In like the most ridiculous way. I think it's because you hear everybody singing along, or you hear a bunch of people singing along to it, and there's no words to it. It's just the tune repeated, and I love it. Coke is discontinuing Coke Energy. I found out that last week. And I'm glad. Because it was terrible. That's as much news as there is to that. It was a terrible energy drink. They're discontinuing it. Terrible energy drink, terrible cola. So expensive as well. Oh, it's gonna be in my head forevermore now. how do I even fill up the last 10 minutes, right? How do I ever do this stuff? I'm just sort of hanging out. Because usually what happens is I get into a thought and then I continue it and I should probably keep going, but I'm like, no, it's 3 hours, I have to stop. But today I feel like I just don't have anything. I feel like I've gotten across everything that I wanted to get across, which is essentially just talking about the show again. As ever. Just a lot of nonsense for 3 hours. Including some film recommendations and some singing. If you can even call it that. I just want the show on the road, the writing the book for the tarot deck, even though it's been like 2 years since I started that damn tarot deck. More of Dear Amber. More book readings, audiobook stuff. And I think that's all of the big works that like I want to get done before the end of the year. Or at least in progress, probably in production, in actually making stuff, not just like playing with things or testing things. I want to be like making it. I want to be finishing parts of it. At least one Dear Amber this year. That's what I want. So I've got at least 2 years in a row I've made one. I think June is my month now. Just need to actually do it. Just need to actually do it. It's kind of nice to have this reflective day every week. Just come on and hang out. No goals. No proper goals anyway, no set in stone goals. Just like, I feel like I want to talk about this. I stopped Eric from being able to post in call to action. If you're still listening. I took away his ability to send messages. Have a look at the old rules my server had. I don't know whether I've got a copy of them anymore. But I'm gonna rewrite them. I'll tell you what. I'll rewrite them in the next week or two. So before the end of the month. So within the next week, I'll rewrite them. That'll be my first thing I'll do after I've finished this work next. Because I got a chunk of work to do today, and once I'm through that, then I'll write the rules. Because it's about time for me to write the rules now. They won't be exactly the same, but they'll be in a similar style. Because obviously now the server has a bit of community going on in it, and it was very anti-community before, or at least anti-text community. Let's see whether I have a copy of it. Maybe in moderator only still. No, I have my notes from. Why did I delete it? Because I delete everything. You have to not get attached to anything. Yeah, it's not even in third public text channel either. There was I do have like some notes from what I wanted the show to be, which actually, strangely enough, the cut down version of the show that I've been talking about today actually fits into this description that I gave a month ago. There were still rules about communicating and not hurting each other's feelings. Yeah, there was. There was some good parts in those rules, but I don't really care too much about it. They were always meant to be temporary anyway. I mean, not everything that I make is meant to be temporary. Don't step on each other's toes. I can't remember what the specific wording was for it. I quite like them at the minute. Nothing on here should be thought of as permanent. Messages will be deleted regardless of your funny offensive having another conversation a moment with someone. If you only see a handful of channels, please wait to be seated. Someone will be with you shortly. 3. No self-promo. 4. The rules are yet to be rewritten. 2. Make yourself feel at home, but no, it isn't. It would be fun to have some hyper-specific rules this time. I really like the no E channel so much. I think it's so fun. And I love that it gets used so much. Oh, okay, we're past the 3-hour mark. I can go. I'm free. I'm free. Free as a bird. Oh. Alright. It's been fun. Have a lovely day. Take care. Brush your hair. See you when I see you. And good night. Bye bye.